Okay, I'm back. Yep, alright, I'm here. I think I'm live streaming now. So, this is part 2 of Wire Wednesday number 13. Thought I'd break it up. I got 2 different things that are not related to each other. The first part was a reset of upper and lower. Let me show those real quick where I reset upper and lower together. So you can see what that was all about. Go find that. If you missed it, you can watch it later. But today, this is a fixed bite plate or a Nance bite plate. So if you're familiar with a Nance, it has an acrylic button right here in the bottom here, right here in the roof of the mouth. This is Nance's bite plate, which has a bite plate right here in the interior. This is also called a fixed bite plate. So I'm going to prep this and bend it, solder it, and possibly even sprinkle it. And I'll see if I can do it in under 30 minutes. Hopefully. We'll see how it goes. So I am not fitting bands. The doctor has already fit bands, but he likes to send them to me separately and have me just fit them in there. It's just something that works better for both of us. So I get the model in the mail like this, and I get the bands in a coin envelope like and so, and I get the bands on a cotton roll, which is a very good way of sending the bands so they don't get crushed too bad when you're sending them through the mail. Alright, so what is this comprised of, made up of? We're going to use an 040 wire, and we're going to go, we're not going to touch any teeth. This is more comfort for the patient. There we go. So again, I'm going to fit bands. So I still have my setup in there. Again, this is only a 3-camera setup. I'm keeping it simple so I can do this quick and easy and short. Alright, so I'm going to bend an 040 wire, preferably in that shape. I put a little bend here around the papilla, just have it. I just like to put a little retention area in there. Get the chat up and going. Alright, so this is red I always use for acrylic. And what I like to do is go 2 millimeters below the incisal edge. So the ideal over bite, over jet is 2 millimeters. So the lower teeth are just barely covering, like my fingers lower tooth, it's just barely covering there. It's not a deep bite. So this patient has a deep bite. Most of the lower teeth are covered by the upper teeth. What this does is this is going to provide them a fixed bite plate right in the interior that the lower teeth are going to sit on, which means the posterior teeth are going to declude. And the great thing about teeth is when they don't touch, they're going to grow until they touch. If I had a lower model, this would be great. Here's one right here. It doesn't match this patient, but hey. You're going to declude it like this. Oh, no, someone's calling me. Sorry about that. You're going to declude it, and these teeth are going to get super erupt until they touch, which will open the bite. So I have the mark where it's like that. Most likely this patient is totally covered like that. Again, this lower model doesn't match the upper patient. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to wax out a little bit. Now I'm probably not going to show the finishing of this, won't have time, but I usually try to keep it smooth on the inside so they can actually pass a piece of floss or something underneath the acrylic and clean out any food. Remember, they're going to have this, I don't know, 9 months or so while they try to open the bite, just using the natural forces, natural growing forces of the teeth. Kind of the same thing as if you lose a molar, your lower molar will grow into that spot until it touches something, and then it stops erupting. Alright, so let's go fit these bands. I'm going to switch you over to the other camera. Alright, we're here. The other camera, I'm going to try to get rid of these lines for you. There we go. Got rid of some. What I like to use is a round burr. And y'all have seen videos of me doing this before. It's about this size. I think it's a number 8 or something like that. And because this doctor has pre-fit these bands, I know these bands fit this tooth. And so even if I gouge the tooth a little bit, as long as I get the band in the right position and fitting good, I don't have to worry about sizing it and getting the right size. So I don't have to worry too much about cutting this to the exact specifications of the tooth, as long as I can get this band on this tooth. I do try to hold my, you can't tell, but I'm holding it vertically, perpendicular to the tooth, and actually using the shaft of the tooth to guide me around, the shaft of the burr to guide me around the tooth. Usually these corners here, this doctor fits his bands very, very tight. So I actually, usually I leave that line that I marked on there, I marked right on the gum line. I usually leave that exposed, or I don't mess with it at all. But because they fit their bands so tight, which is nice, you know, it's going to be a good fit in the mouth, I'm going to take off that just a little bit. That mark that I made, which is actually, when I do a pencil mark on the gum line, usually I'll get a line on the gum line and then one on the actual crown of the tooth, and I'll just grind away the gum line until it disappears and leave the mark on the tooth. But in this case, I don't worry about that too much. So let's do a trial fit. Oh, this did get a little smushed a little bit. Try to get that back. Okay. Alright. Pretty much there. Almost there. I'm going to go back to the table where I got all my tools. Take this tool with me and we'll finish seating these bands. Alright. We're back. Okay, so as you can see, these are really tight, so I'm going to just try to shave off some of these ledges I see. Y'all may not be able to see them as well. Let me get another shot here. Okay. Maybe I can try to get as many multi-camera shots as possible. That way y'all can see, you know, where when my hands are in the way. Again, I'm just smoothing this out, taking off any ledges that were left by the burr.
Again, I'm not too worried about maintaining the shape of the tooth, because I know these bands actually were fit in the mouth and fit this patient. So I'm just trying to get clearance enough to get these bands seated down where they need to go. Sometimes they get a little bent when they take them off, and you'll have to mess with them. Oh, that did good. Let me get my little pusher. Don't know where it went. Sorry, my head's in the way. I'm looking for my little... There we go. This is a little band pusher. Just adapt it. Looks good. You want to make sure you're not tilted one way or another. Alright, and then you want to make sure you're below, just below that mesial marginal ridge on the tooth. Cool. Time for the other side. You can see how well these fit. I like to use the soft wood of my thing here, because it will actually like dig into the band, but not fold the band over, so the band will actually dig into here a little bit, and I can push. See how it's already kind of warping on me a little bit? And then I'll take the blade part, use these brackets that are on here, and push down. Okay, I'm already, so that means I've hit a ridge somewhere. Looks like about here. So let me get this off. Oh yeah, you see that ridge. It made its own ridge. You can see how much the tooth tapers underneath the gums. That's what I don't like fitting bands myself as a lab, because I don't know what that tooth looks like under the gums. And my gums, well, of course the doctor doesn't either, but the gums in the patient's mouth actually move, and you can get a band to fit better. The gums on here, they're immovable. I gotta grind them away. There we go. Alright, that fit good. Use my little band pusher. Just get it right on the edge, push down. Alright, now I gotta make sure, check my level. Alright, I think we're good. So, I would advise against tacking it down with sticky wax, because the sticky wax will find your solder joint. So, I've just got a little bit of super glue here. I'm just gonna tack it down just a little bit. Right there, just enough to hold the band in place while we're bending the wire and soldering and all, doing acrylic and all that jazz. Then I have a accelerator, which is actually for fix-it powder. Sorry, not fix-it powder. I'll give that just a little bit. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to grind off these internal cleats. This is a Mizzy heatless wheel, and if you haven't super glued it down yet by now, when you do this, you're probably going to ride up the band will come off the tooth. But since I've already super glued it down, it's good. And notice I super glued on the buckle side here, because my flame is going to be this side. The worst thing is getting super glue near your solder joint and you'll get fumes in your eyes. It is not pleasant. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit of separator, because remember, acrylic's going to go right here. Alright, now for the wire bending part. See, I'm already halfway through just the prepping part. So again, the 040 is about the biggest I have. I have a 051, but I think it's just too big. The doctor did, for a while, go big sizes like that, but it was mainly because the solder, or the wire was breaking right here at the solder joint. Right here. I gotta get this back in alignment. Sorry, let me adjust this camera angle for you. Alright, that's better. Okay. So it kept breaking right here at this solder joint, but I think it was my soldering, because I was leaving that wire exposed. And when you ditch around the tooth like you do this for bands, you're leaving a lot of airspace in here, which for some reason will attack that wire. So you got to make sure you fill up all your areas with heat shield. Do a good job of doing that. So the wire bending part's pretty easy. I'm just going to bend a basic shape. Start with that little bend. I'm just going to round it down. Round it down. Again, you don't want to. You don't have to worry about it. It's not like a lingual arch where you have to touch every tooth. But you do want to keep it hygienic, where they can clean around it as much as possible. They're going to have a hard time because they got to eat in this thing, and food will get trapped underneath, all that good stuff. So I do pumice the underside of this, the tissue side. Alright, so I don't want it too far away from the teeth, but close enough to where it's not feel like it's hanging out in the middle of the mouth. I don't want to go up against the teeth like this, because I think I want the doctor to be able to grind back. So I want to just kind of spin this wire out in the middle. Don't want it too high, because then you won't have much acrylic on top. Because the doctor may want to adjust this bite plate, get it exactly where they want them biting. Alright, so I'm going to mark it where I'm going to cut it. Again, if you're just joining me, I'm doing a fixed bite plate, or what I call a Nance Bite plate, used for, used for opening the bite. So I've already seated the bands, and now I'm going to get this thing ready for soldering. So what that grinding noise was, I was grinding the ends of this off. That's going to go into the solder joint. I just feel like it just gives it that much more mechanical retention on that solder. So what we are just a little bit. Again, this is touching the tissue, so I'm just going to bring it up while that sticky wax is setting up. There we go. Again, I got a nice space, so acrylic can get all around this. And making sure it's going to be level. It's level with the teeth. It's in a good spot there. This needs to be raised up just a tad. I'm going to step it up. And go a little closer. Alright, I'm going to cut a little off the ends. I don't want to. Helps with the finishing of the solder joint. Raccoon, you're back. Add a little more. Again, this isn't necessarily important to line up. To tell the midline's shifted on here. I just want to make sure I got space underneath it for acrylic and around it. This is in the middle or above the middle. This is in the middle or above the middle. It could probably be a little higher. I'm just going to do that by heating up this wax. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so let's get to soldering. Yeah, I only got a few minutes left to make my 30-minute mark. I'll talk too much. I got my little flux, my applicator. Sometimes the end gets. I like to put the flux on first and just put it everywhere I want the solder to go. Just kind of drawing it on here. Alright. And make sure you get this joint covered. That's right here is where it breaks. Remember, they're going to be eating this, so this thing's going to be pushing up and down while they're chewing and biting. Because they won't be able to eat here, because these are all going to be discluded, not touching each other, so they can only eat up front for the first, I don't know, couple months. So you got to make this super strong to withstand those eating forces. Oh darn, I'm out. Ouchie. Dip into the. I like using that little syringe. So what you're looking for is you don't want to see any wire between your flux and your heat shield. If you do see wire, it's going to get super hot, and that's going to be your break point. You're going to soften the wire. So one thing what I was going to say before was I like that syringe for is I like to just squirt this heat shield into these trenches that I've produced to try to set the band in there. That way heat can't go around it and get to the other side and get different spots on the wire you didn't think about. And shove it down in that trench. There we go. Now you see what's wrong here? There's a little bit of stuff showing, a little bit of wire showing. So I'm going to make that junction between the two where you can't even see it. And then another reason for doing this, for filling in the trenches, you don't want your solder to wrap around and get in between the teeth. That's just going to make that band thicker and make it harder to seat in the mouth. So right now, this patient has separators in, and there's going to be a little bit of gap, but still, if you got, oh man, it keeps coming off. Stay on there. There we go. Okay, where was I? Oh, you don't want the solder to just wrap around that back of that band, or get too much into this corner right here, because then you won't be able to seat it down. It'll be impinging the gums too much. I want to turn off the light real quick. Get my torch ready. Get my eye protection ready. Get my solder ready. We'll solder this real quick. Oops. So I'm just getting that flux nice and hot. Usually it turns to liquid. That wire starts to turn brown. That tells me time to put some. Woo! That jumped. Jay Tyler has a pretty cool video showing how to use a titanium tipped probe to get solder around, or a piece of wire with solder on it first. So be sure to check that video out. Sometimes I'll use, if I think the solder is sagged too much, I know y'all can't see this, I'll hold it upside down. There we go. Then I'll heat the solder and let gravity pull it back up to the top of the band. And let there be light. Okay. So if you're a recycler, you can actually take some of this back that didn't get nasty on you. Leave all that crusty gray stuff. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is I don't have my steamer turned on, or else I would just steam all this off. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse it off, because I'm about to do this, sprinkle this for you real quick. just trying to... Sometimes this heat shield will slide up underneath this wire and we'll get in your acrylic. My acrylic's only going to go from here to here. And I think we're good. I realized I just forgot to put a second layer of separator. I don't want to touch the wire, but... There we go. And one thing I've noticed that right when you go to sprinkle right after you've done the soldering, if you didn't clean it off like I did, the heat will actually make your acrylic set up faster. So, hello, Greg. Nice to see you again. I know it's been a while. Greg from Iowa. Fixed bite plate is what we're doing today. I don't know if you saw the other one, where we were doing resetting teeth. That was part 1, so this is part 2. I decided to do a 2-part series today, see if I could do it as a proof of concept. So, let me switch around some cameras real quick, and... Hello. Alright, let me turn this on. Light on here. Let's see if I can get this zoomed in and what I'm doing. Alright, I got 2 cameras on here. Let's see if I can get those pulled up for you. There we go. So this is pretty simple. What I use is just clear acrylic. I like to use tinted clear monomer, which will make this crystal clear on the inside. I use it for all my splint type appliances. So I wanted to douse this with some monomer, try to get any of that heat shield off of there that sunk in. You can kind of tell a difference where I've put separator and where I have, how it soaks into the model. That's always a good indicator when you put your monomer on here and it immediately just soaks right in to the... That means you did put separator on. You should stop immediately, put separator on, because you're not getting that off the model. So, what I'm doing is just pretty much going to be building a big acrylic block. There's nothing special to this, except you just got to have good acrylic management. Make sure it doesn't slump on you while you're doing this. That just is the most frustrating thing. So we're trying to build this wall. Now I usually build it all the way up to the incisal edge of the teeth, and that way I have a little room to cut back, and it accounts for the shrinkage of the acrylic just a little bit, where I cut back to that red line later on. Alright, we'll build this back edge. One thing you have to think about is where, remember I didn't get a lower model with this, so I got to think about, you know, their lower teeth are just going to be skating around on this top layer. So I got to give them enough room where I don't think they're going to skate off and fall off the, you know, the distal side of this. what I'm looking for. Looking for, get a good camera angle, parallel with the occlusion. So it looks like I need to, it looks like it's at that angle. I need to build it up a little bit. So you guys see that. And you build up the back edge a little bit. And I'm going to be cutting it here and here, so it looks like I've got good coverage there. This is slumping a little bit on me, so I'm going to freeze the slumping. Push on it a little bit with my finger. You don't want to do this too much; it'll cause little micro pockets of air in your acrylic. But you see, I'm just kind of morphing this. Make sure I'm getting it parallel. I'm going to add just a little bit on this back edge. I'm not going to put too much monomer because I don't want it, again, I don't want it to slump. Alright, so I'm building it up. I'm starting to like how it looks. Now this is the point where if you've overbuilt it, you can clean it up some. Better to do it while the acrylic's wet. I like this to be just pretty much a straight wall back here in the back. So that's about what it's going to look like in the mouth. Of course, it's going to be crystal clear. You can see how it's going to be very hard on the patient for a little while because they're going to be biting on this ledge and chewing on that until it leads back until the posterior super erupts and comes together and ends up opening the bite. Alright, in the pressure pot it goes. Alright. Thank you for watching. This has been wire bending number 13 part 2. So as a new series, give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave comments below. Let me check the... Oh hey, what is this device for? Okay. Hi, I'm from... Hey, we had Francisco from Chile. Hi Francisco, how you doing? I was wondering why you put the bend behind 8-9. That was just like a little acrylic retention thing I do. It really doesn't need it. I'm sure the arch of the wire going through the acrylic will be enough so it doesn't spin on it. It's just something I do. Marks it as mine. What's the device for? So it's a fixed bite plate. It's used for opening up the bite. So there's going to be like a splint material behind the front teeth, and the lower teeth can only, it's for deep bites, and so it will only allow them to bite down so far, which will declude the posterior, which then they will erupt and come together and touch. And the instant they touch, the doctor will take that out, and usually he'll just grind on the inside and just pull off on those two things. So it's a pretty simple device. Uses a natural growth of the teeth when they're not touching something to open the bite. It's called a fixed bite plate, or a Nance Bite plate, or NBP. So kind of used to keep those molars distal. You get just like a Nance does, but also has a second function of opening the bite. So at the beginning of the video I tried to explain it a little bit, so you might want to rewind it. But anyway, unless there's any other questions, I will sign off. Thank you for visiting, and watching and putting up with me. Again, this was a quick video I put on. If you want to subscribe below, I might do some of these random throughout the week. So subscribe below and then click that little bell icon, and you'll get a notification the instant I go live, and you can come join the fun. So pay attention throughout the week. Again, if you're a Patreon subscriber or a subscriber to my website, I will have these posted. And I'll try to pre-post them in the Patreon site so that you can get yourself ready and you'll be alerted there also. So again, thank you Patreon subscribers. I believe there's probably information if you want to be a Patreon subscriber down below, and you can check that out. Until then, happy bending and have fun.